Hey, welcome to Laird Wellness Live. I'm Scott Laird. This is
Jodi Laird.
And tonight we are going to talk about something we both do every day.
Yes.
But first, it's, all kinds of crazy weather across the country. Had a friend go out to the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
He was in, he was in Minnesota.
Okay.
66 degrees there. One state over, it was 8 degrees and snowing. So all kinds of crazy stuff going on there. We are going to get some spin-off of hurricane here in North Carolina. It's just going to be a bunch of rain and that kind of thing. But folks in Florida are getting a little bit of it there. But hopefully you are okay where you are.
Right.
And, a lot of times, folks get really achy joints in the rain, like the weather changes and they got rheumatoid arthritis. I can start feeling it. Well, tonight what we're going to talk about is really going to help that. MSM, methylsulfonylmethane. It's known by a couple of other things like DMSO2 and things like this.
Right.
It's, excuse me. It's really good for the joints and stuff, but it's really good for a whole bunch of other things too. And in fact, Jodi reminded me that there was a whole bunch of stuff that she gave me some information that we were going to share tonight, and I forgot to include it on the presentation. So we'll pick up the phone and I'll show you a couple other things too that are very important with MSM. It's really incredible.
Yes.
It will, one of the things I learned that we're going to talk about later tonight, I didn't even realize this, it can help people with leaky gut. Because L-glutamine, we know, glues the gut.
Right.
But MSM helps to create that lining. So it's kind of like the finishing touch on, and if you use the two of them together, L-glutamine and MSM, it can completely shut down leaky gut, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
And I put MSM in my water every day. So I'm going to show you the recipe that I use, including the MSM, to put into the water so that you can have it too. And you can do it every day like I do. And I literally do it every day. And it's probably why my bones and joints and muscles, when I go to the gym, I don't feel like I'm 51. I feel like I'm probably around 30, 35, something like that, quite honestly. And that's, if I don't do the MSM for a couple of days, I feel it. But if I do it, I'm getting sulfur. And you might say, well, you're just kind of artificially pumping yourself up. Well, not really. See, we're supposed to have sulfur in our vegetables. But because of modern farming practices, we don't have sulfur anymore in the soil. And the main reason is that modern fertilizers will actually deplete the soil. It'll get in the way of sulfur being produced. So that's one reason why sulfur is not in the soil.
Right. Yep.
So that's a real, smoking gun as to one of those things that's literally not in our food anymore, and it's sulfur. And we need it for hair, skin, nails, and all kinds of other stuff. So let's get into this. What is it good for? So first of all, what is MSM? So here we go. So MSM is methylsulfonylmethane. Say that 5 times real fast. So it is, it's just sulfur. It looks just like that on the right there. Now ours is pretty small particles.
Right.
The one that we have. It's sort of like would you describe it as like snow?
Yeah, absolutely. We can get some like this too. Our friend of ours, Dr. Ron Neer, makes some as well, and his looks more like this. It's more of like crystals.
Yeah, large crystal.
Yeah,
and that's his thing, right?
Yeah, he is a very good one as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
And his website, oh gosh, if I could rattle it off right now, it's a really odd name.
Yes, but if you, I had it on the tip of my tongue, but I forget. But you could actually look it up. Dr. Ron Neer, Neer.
Yep.
And sulfur, and it'll come up, I'm sure. It's a very good one.
So there you have some of the things we've been talking about already. Unfortunately, most food we consume have the sulfur removed from them, leaving us deficient in this very important nutrient. Sulfur helps to promote a healthy inflammatory process and many have seen improvements in joint and muscle pain. Okay, that's what I was just talking about.
Right.
MSM is also found in every living organism on Earth, including foods that are not grown with chemical fertilizers. Aha, there's the other point we brought up. It is a very important nutrient for our bodies to stay healthy. So I wanted to show you now some of the things that Jodi, before we get into anything else here, before we forget, some of the things that she had shown me. This is from one of our favorite people in the world, David Wolfe. And David Wolfe, we were into his stuff when we were doing vegan stuff and raw foods, and he's a very famous raw foodist. And Now he's not doing that so much anymore.
I'm not sure what he actually eats now, but he's still in the health space.
Right.
Yeah.
And so he wrote a book, and this is from one of his books. You remember what book this is from?
Eating for Beauty.
Eating for Beauty. Okay, yeah, well, that would make sense because the MSM is involved with hair, teeth, and nails, and that kind of thing.
Right.
So I'm just going to read off some of these things, which is really cool, which is not in our presentation tonight. So MSM helps to alleviate pollen and food allergies. Okay, we're going to get into that in a little bit. In fact, MSM neutralizes foreign proteins, such as pollen allergens, faster than anything else I have seen. This is David Wolf speaking here. Let's see. MSM is a potentiator. What does that mean? It means it makes all nutrients and supplements work better.
Right. That's probably one of the most important things that I think MSM does, besides alleviate pain. I mean, those two things. If I'm going to take MSM and it's going to help all other vitamins and minerals I take work better.
It's going to supercharge your,
Right. And it's going to help me not feel pain when going to the gym or any kind of aches and pains. Those are the two most important things for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
MSM greatly enhances the structural integrity of connective tissue and joint cartilage. Okay, that gets into the hair, teeth, and nails thing. Mm-hmm. It works synergistically with vitamin C to build new tissue. There you go. So it's good for healing. MSM actually alters cross linkages that create scars on the skin. Okay, so MSM lotion applied topically is greatly beneficial in treating acne, dermatitis, eczema, psoriasis, rosacea, and scars.
Yeah.
How about that?
It's pretty much a miracle.
It's really cool. Yep.
I mean, and maybe that's why God created vegetables with sulfur in them, and that's when we're supposed to get our sulfur, but we're really not getting it.
Right. So now this is why. Check this out. So look at the date on this graph, and then you tell me why this is happening. So the parts per million of sulfur, look back there on the left in 1910. It's way up at the 450 mark. Today, we're almost like down to like 25. It's like 5% of what it used to be. Parts per million of nutrients and mineral composition in our soil. So the mineral depletion is going way down. Why? Well, what happened between 1910 and 1975? We had a lot of industrialized farming, a lot of commercialized farming. And what are we doing there? We're trying to get the most out of each piece of land as fast as possible, and maybe even doing like 2 crops a year. So what are we doing? We're depleting the soil. You know, even the Bible says give the land a rest after 6 years. You know, every 7th year you're supposed to let it lie fallow,
right?
So that these things, the minerals, can catch up. Well, in today's society where everybody wants all this food now,
wow,
we don't have time to do that.
True.
So unfortunately, we kind of shot ourselves in the foot as far as, yes, we're growing lots of food, but there ain't a lot of minerals in it. So what good is that?
Right.
You know, it's kind of ironic, isn't it? So that is one thing that we wanted to bring out, is that the mineral depletion is really happening in the soil. So it's due to fertilizers, which have high amounts of phosphates.
Yeah.
That is the main reason. And they interfere with the small amounts of sulfur compositions that may be present in the soil. And obviously there's not enough now. Right. And so there are some benefits, though, that we want to talk about. And we thought we'd round it out to about 5 because we don't want to keep you any more than 30 minutes today. We've decided that, that's long enough to teach you something. I taught something the other day in 30 seconds, if you saw our YouTube short that we also put on Facebook and put on Instagram. We're putting on TikTok now, too. So we're going to try and do that. So thank you to everyone who responded with, what should I explain in 2 minutes or less? Well, we decided to make it 30 seconds. Yep. If we can explain cholesterol in 30 seconds, we can explain anything in 30 seconds. So we will do more of that. But let's get on to tonight's topic, and that is the 5 benefits of MSM. So let's just rattle through these. It improves osteoarthritis and joint pain. It will improve exercise recovery. A young man who's living with us actually just mentioned that today. That's what he knew it for.
Yes. Oh, that's what I like it for. I mean, that's why when we take on a new client who wants to work with us, that's one of the very first things that we have them do. We want them to exercise, but then we also want them to take MSM so that they don't hurt, so that they continue to exercise.
Right, because a lot of the folks that we deal with are, our age, or 50 plus. So we want to, wow, did I really say that? We're 50 plus? That's unbelievable. But you need that kind of thing, right? If you want to exercise like you're 30, well, you better be getting some nutrients that make you feel like you're 30, right?
Right.
It will also improve leaky gut and inflammation. We touched on that. We will touch on that more. It supports healthy skin, hair, and nail growth, and supports antioxidant systems and detoxification. So those are some of the things we want to talk about tonight. So arthritis. So there was a study published in 2006 that said patients who took MSM experienced a considerable decrease in pain. Now, for a study to say those words, considerable decrease, that's got a fairly large number, while their physical function was improved. Also, those who took MSM saw an improvement in performing their daily activities.
Yep.
Right? Because it's reducing the inflammation. We're going to find a little bit later why it reduces the inflammation.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were going to add something to say.
No,
there.
I mean, I can attest to that. I
okay.
concur.
You concur. Okay, very good. That sounds like Catch Me If You Can. Wasn't that the movie? Catch Me If You Can. Do you concur, doctor? What? Do you concur?
Anyway. I concur.
Okay, so exercise recovery. That was something else. So in a 2016 study, MSM, which is an active antioxidant, okay, it blunts tissue damage and the resulting inflammation from said tissue damage. So MSM actually prevents death of white blood cells involved in fighting off different immune threats to the body. Because when you're doing strenuous exercise, you inadvertently kind of kill off some of those immune cells.
The white blood cells? Wow.
So you need to have some MSM to sort of counteract that. And the best way to do it is to put it in your water because, as David Wolf notes in his research, that MSM works better with water. It naturally works with water best. So that's why I put it in my water. And in fact, I'm going to show you something right now. I will show you my water recipe.
Some people, you can go ahead and show that water recipe if you want, but some people will chug it. So they'll put their whatever amount they're going to drink and they'll just put it in a shot glass, so to speak, and, shoot it.
Just down it, yep.
And there are certain people who are super tasters and certain people who are not. And it is very bitter. But if you put it in water, you don't taste it at all. If I shoot it, oh yeah, it's bitter and I just don't want to do it and keep up with it. So putting in my water, I don't notice it at all.
That's what I do. I put like a tablespoon of this stuff, which is actually quite a bit. But if you put it in a half a gallon of water and drink it over the course of the day, like Jodi says, it's not even there. I mean,
well, and
you didn't tell me, I wouldn't know.
I'll do even more than that. I'm right now doing 2 tablespoons a day, but I've done up to 3 on a very regular basis.
Now that's good that's good you're doing it because it's good for autoimmune too. We haven't even got to that yet. Good for autoimmune, good for leaky gut. Why are those two things connected? Because autoimmune conditions often result from a leaky gut. And we're going to show you why. So if MSM can stop both of those, why the heck would you not do it?
Why the heck?
Why the heck? Okay, so here's my water recipe. Sounds like an odd combination of words, but it really is a recipe. So I take a half a gallon of filtered water. We have a Kangen machine here if you have something like that at home, or even if you just have a simple Brita water filter you put in your fridge, or maybe your refrigerator has a Berkey, or maybe your refrigerator has a filter on it. Or yes, you have some kind of gravity-fed thing like a Berkey. Or even if you just, you get the big 5-gallon things from Walmart. That's fine, whatever. But as long as it's filtered water, we just don't want it straight out of the tap. So half a gallon of filtered water, half a teaspoon of Himalayan salt. Why are we doing that? Same idea as putting the MSM powder in. We don't have enough minerals in our foods. This is a good way to get it in. And also, the water does not have enough minerals in it because we're not drinking out of the spring like we're supposed to.
Right.
So by the time it comes out of your tap and goes through any kind of filtration process, it is going to have an absence of minerals. So we need to replace some of those with Himalayan salt. And Himalayan salt is not just sodium chloride. It has about 80 other minerals that help your body deal with the sodium chloride. So there's like 80 plus minerals in Himalayan salt. We also want, here's the big one, 1 tablespoon of MSM powder. Jodi does 3 or up to 3.
Up to 3 for sure. Right. And there's no reason why you can't do up to 3, but you do want to titrate up for sure.
Yep.
Don't do it all at once. That may be, you may get some diarrhea or that kind of thing.
Yeah, it can do that, right?
Yep.
So 3 drops of iodine, or however much equals 2,000 micrograms, according to what your yours says on the bottle, always be sure to read the label.
And if you do have an autoimmune condition like Hashimoto's, do not do 3 drops of iodine a day. So just make sure, you do some research on how much iodine you should do a day, because I do not do 3 drops a day. I do 1 drop every 3 days, something like that, because of the Hashimoto's.
Now, I have a slow thyroid, but I don't have Hashimoto's. This is why it's Scott's water recipe.
Exactly.
So yeah, do it according to what you need to be doing. And then the lemon juice powder or stevia to sweeten at the end, that's just a little bit of fun I put in there. That's not really necessary to do anything. It's just to make it kind of taste like a lemonade, and it ends up being like a homemade Gatorade. And the MSM powder will actually make the water a little bit thicker.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. So it almost kind of makes it tastes like a Gatorade that has a little bit of that sugar viscosity to it, but it's not sugar at all.
Well, some people love water and love to drink water just as it is. I do not.
No, neither do I.
So this makes it a lot more palatable.
Makes it
for sure.
Fun. Yep. Okay, so after we got past the water recipe, we wanted to talk about leaky gut. Oh yeah, so that was really important. Mm-hmm. So it improves leaky gut because MSM protects the mucosal lining of your gut.
Wow.
So which is vital to healing leaky gut.
Right.
And like we said earlier, if you combine that with L-glutamine, which L-glutamine tightens the junctions in your gut. So if leaky gut is literally the gut kind of pulling apart. So that's where the leakiness comes from. That's where the holes kind of filter. And I'll show you a picture in a second here. But so L-glutamine kind of pushes that back together, and then MSM puts the lining back on. So you can imagine that's a pretty powerful combination. Mm-hmm. And it's also a helpful strategy in the battle against autoimmune conditions, considering, here we go, the common connection. Now, obviously, I'm reading this off of my notes here. The common connection between gut issues, there's a common connection between gut issues and autoimmunity.
Okay.
So if you have gut issues,
yeah,
more susceptible to autoimmunity. Why are you susceptible to autoimmunity? Because that's the body attacking itself.
Right.
So let's think about this. Autoimmune. So this is involving the immune system.
Right.
So if the body is attacking itself, obviously the immune system is mistaking something happening in the body for being something foreign that it needs to go after, like virus or bacteria or something.
Right.
When really it's just part of the body. So how does that relate to a leaky gut? Well, think about it. If you have a leaky gut, undigested foods, parasites, all this kind of stuff is leaking out of the gut. Once it's outside the gut, the immune system goes, hey, what's that? And goes after it.
Right.
So now, that's why it's attacking things that are leaking out of your gut. And that's where we have autoimmune conditions. So if you keep that all sealed up and in your gut where it belongs by using L-glutamine to push those connections back together and then put the mucosal lining back on top to sort of seal it off, almost like a glue with MSM, no more autoimmune, no more stuff escaping from the gut.
Right. And we're not saying that every single autoimmune condition is because of a leaky gut, but the two go hand in hand. Right. For instance, my Hashimoto's is an autoimmune condition. I probably do have a leaky gut, I'm pretty sure, but also it could be due to a pathogen.
Yep.
Which is what we test for. Mm-hmm. So we will test for those things, and I do believe with myself that it does have to do with this pathogen that is kind of embedded itself in my thyroid, and my immune system says, oh, what the heck is going on with your thyroid? There's something in there. So it's attacking itself to get rid of that pathogen that has embedded itself in its thyroid. That's just what I'm thinking out loud.
Yep.
Crazy. Because I am positive for one of those. But that's what we test for, and then we try and help solve it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, so here's a picture of a leaky gut versus a healthy gut, and you will begin to see the difference pretty easily here. So we'll just work through this because there's a lot of detail. So at the top there, it says a healthy gut works like a cheesecloth. Okay, that's a good analogy. This is from our friend Dr. David Jockers. I love his graphics because they're very simple to understand.
And he does the work for us.
Yep. This allows only nutrients through the cheesecloth, but keeping larger food particles and pathogenic bacteria, yeast, and parasites out. In a leaky gut, the tight junctions that we said that L-glutamine helps with are loosened. So undigested food particles and pathogens can get through and activate the immune system. There we go. That's exactly what we were talking about.
Yep.
Causing inflammation and food sensitivities. Now, on the left, you see we have a healthy gut. And then above that little red healthy gut button, above that, we see tight junctions, right? So everything's kind of tied together. Now, on the right-hand side, you see leaky gut, and there's some holes. And that's how things are kind of poking through. Now, what's interesting, what can cause that, look at these sort of black buttons near the center bottom of that image. The top one says antibiotics, autoimmunity diet, unhealthy diet, and dysbiosis, which just means like your microbiome is not properly populated with good bacteria. Also, look below there, infections, low stomach acid. Interesting. Why? Because if you don't have stomach acid to break things down, they're going to be bigger particles. And then this sort of creates this mess in the gut. And NSAIDs. What are NSAIDs? Well, these are things like Tylenol and ibuprofen. Stress, toxins, all of these things can lead to leaky gut. Now, which one of us doesn't have one of those risk factors? Right? We all need to be, and that's why, I mean, Dr. Lewis often says everyone's got a bit of leaky gut.
Yep.
I don't doubt it. Because, everybody's dealing with something like that. And everybody's got an allergy to this or an allergy to that. And see, that's another thing. When people come to us and they say, oh, I went to the allergist and I'm allergic to this and this and this and this and this. And they got like a litany of like 27 things they're allergic to. They're not allergic to those things. They are having an allergic response because the immune system is going after foreign proteins that have likely escaped from their gut, and everything is escaping out of their gut. Therefore, they are allergic to everything. It's not that you have this inherent allergy you were born with. It's things that are escaping the gut. And if you're allergic to 27 things, there's probably 27 things escaping your gut, and you have a really bad case of leaky gut.
Yep. Your immune system is attacking.
That's where I would start.
Yep.
And then if you are truly allergic to a few of those 27 things, then okay, maybe you do have some, just straight up allergies. But to be allergic to all those things, like, some people say, I'm allergic to anything green. Well, come on. The human body is meant to eat green foods. You cannot be allergic to everything green. Let's look at your gut. Let's heal it up. Because there's obviously something weird going on there. I mean, put it this way. This is the way I say, that might sound kind of insensitive and harsh, but if we look at chlorophyll under a microscope, chlorophyll is what makes all green plants green. It is very, very, very similar, except for its center piece of the molecule. Very, very similar to hemoglobin in human blood. How can you be allergic to everything green when God has made it pretty much your blood supply to help you with everything else in your body? Yep. There's obviously something crazy going on there. So anyway, that's where we start when people say, I've got allergic to this, allergic to that. And also, dermatologist friend of ours, who doesn't even really see things naturally like we do, but he said when he sees things like psoriasis and eczema, things like that, the first thing he says is, there's something going on with the gut.
Interesting.
And because he knows that inherently this is what happens. And essentially, if the body can't get rid of those toxins naturally, it's going to try and push it out any way it can.
Right.
And the skin is one of those ways it comes out. Think about it. You sweat, right? So that's the body pushing things out, is sweat. So that's why things occur on the skin. And that's another reason why MSM is good for the skin. Get this. So where was that? Oh, here it is. So MSM can be taken internally or topically.
Right.
For relief of those who suffer from, here we go, eczema, rosacea, psoriasis, acne, dandruff, as we read from David Wolf as well.
Yep.
And dermatitis. How about that? Interesting.
That totally makes sense.
Doesn't it?
We used to try and we did topically put MSM on our daughter's ligaments and joints and
oh, that's
all
right.
her,
Yeah, I forgot about that.
And we used to give her an MSM. I used to make, speaking of really very crunchy, I used to make little capsules of MSM for her. I used to put little MSM in the capsule and have her take them because she was a gymnast and she had a lot of pain every single day and recovery was needed.
And that was probably not nearly enough.
It was not nearly enough. If I knew if I knew then what I do now, I would have been giving her a whole lot of MSM in her water every day.
Yeah, and by the way, so that is best taken. I can't remember if we said this yet or not. Best taken while you are exercising if you're looking for exercise recovery, because it has an affinity for water.
Right.
So best taken when you bring your water to the gym, throw the MSM in there.
And not only that, I mean, if you're going to drink a half a gallon a day or even a gallon a day, put it in your water so that you're drinking it all day.
Yep.
Because what's the half-life?
Mm-hmm.
Probably not very long.
Yep.
So if you're drinking it all day, you're getting that all day.
Mm-hmm. It also supports detoxification. One last note we want to make here. Research has shown that those who consume MSM on a regular basis have significantly higher levels of the pre-oxidized form of glutathione, which MSM helps to create, by the way, creates the master antioxidant. That's why it's good for your immune system. You can see how this kind of connects, right? Glutathione is the master antioxidant. Antioxidants are necessary to reduce inflammation because they have an extra electron. Therefore, it helps the whole immune system, and it's just one thing leads to the other. So that type of MSM, or that type of plasma, the pre-oxidized form of glutathione, which MSM helps to make, which is called plasma-reduced glutathione. MSM essentially improves the life of available glutathione within your body. So basically, MSM is going to make more of the antioxidants you need. The master antioxidant, glutathione. How about that? Okay, so let's get back to that water recipe again. This is something that we teach in our Biologic Blueprint program, our 8-week program. This is one of the basic things I teach everybody. Put this in your water, okay? So take a screenshot or pause it and do whatever you need to remember this. And then come on over and let's talk about maybe you want to do this. This is our Biologic Blueprint 8-week wellness program. We have a couple of people doing it right now. One guy was very excited. He texted me today where he had very high sugars, and so we were trying to get him to get into ketosis. I said the best way to do that is a 3-day bone broth fast. He says, I'm doing it. I'm going to keep doing my exercise, keep doing it. We are watching his sugars drop like a rock into normal ranges. He is officially in ketosis. He is thrilled. I'm thrilled. This is a beautiful thing, and he is just gung-ho. He's just really excited about it. So this is what he's getting. He's getting what you can get too. An initial blood lab and 60-minute consult. That's where we realized he had high blood sugars and a few other issues. Then we give him an 8-week meal plan with grocery list.
Right.
That is one of the coolest things we have added to our program, and that's why it's brand new. This 8-week meal plan is specific to you. All the stuff you like, none of the stuff you don't like. All the things you need according to your blood test. And even if we want to do some intermittent fasting, we can just click a button and skip breakfast. It'll move all those calories over to your other 2 meals. And put it this way, this thing is so detailed and so individualized that when we click the button and say we're done, it actually takes 3 hours to get this thing in order to give it to you. I'm serious, 3 hours. This thing, if you were to print it all out, and I don't suggest you do, I give it to you in a PDF form because it's over 200 pages. 200 pages of recipes and grocery lists of the exact things you need for every single week, divided week by week.
Right.
It is an amazing addition to our program. You're going to love it. 30-minute progressive coaching sessions every 7 days. So we're going to challenge you. That's what we mean by progressive. You did this last week. We're going to do it this week. We're going to do something more. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to go. And that's how we get results. The people who get results from this are the ones who put in 110%. And we've seen people lose up to 50 pounds because they had a goal, they had a date as to when they wanted to do it, and they followed exactly what we said, and they succeeded. So 6 half-hour educational videos with me and Jodi. We just recorded these things, and the guy I was talking about is the very first one to enjoy these.
Nice.
So you can enjoy them too. They're beautifully produced. We had them done at the production group. Good friend of mine, Brian, produced them for us. Beautiful stuff. These are educational videos that everyone needs to know about. The customized meal plan and the coaching sessions that we do are very individualized to you. But these half-hour educational videos are stuff everybody needs to know and nobody does. So you're going to learn some really cool stuff. We also give you equipment to keep track of everything. We give you a $50 gift card for anything at lairdwellness.com because you're likely going to need something. And we have a HIPAA-compliant patient portal where you can put all your information. We can communicate. No one needs to know about you and us. That's the beauty of it all. And we have unlimited tech support, of course, and 20% off your follow-up blood test after you're all done. And then we give you a month or so to do it on your own and come back, and you can come and see how you did. So that's our Biologic Blueprint Wellness Program. Now, of course, you're going, well, what if I'm not sure if I want to do this or not? Got something for you there, too. All you have to do is go to lairdwellness.com/blueprint. And you will find a calendar on that page that you can book a time with me. You can go far ahead into the future as you need to. If you say, hey, I'm not around or I'm going to be real busy for the next 2 months, fine. Go ahead 2 months, book some time. Let's talk. And this is just a Zoom call between me and you. I'll tell you all the details. We'll figure out if it's good for you. And the best thing about it, too, is payment plans.
Yeah, right.
If you're thinking, well, I don't know if I can do the whole thing in one shot, you don't have to. We have people paying over 5 months. Mm-hmm. So you're thinking, wait a minute, 5-month payment plan for an 8-week program? Yeah, why not? I mean, if that's the way you need to split it up so you can afford to do it. I mean, this is a lifelong thing. This is going to be like an investment in your future. So yes, we teach it over 8 weeks, but that's all it takes for you to learn everything.
And do it yourself.
Do it yourself for the rest of your life. You're going to love it. I mean, it's really going to change your life. And why not take 5 months to pay for it? Why? If it's a lifelong thing, who cares? 5 months. We don't mind doing that. However we can help you do this, we want to help you do this. That's why we make it easy. We can customize that to whatever you want. We'll figure it out. Give me a call. Go on here, go to lairdwellness.com/blueprint and let us talk to you about it so that we can figure out if this thing is right for you. And I'm sure it is because everyone needs to be doing this.
All right.
Okay, so we'll talk to you again next week. Thank you for your time and attention. And we will always have the replay available as soon as I can get it there at lairdwellness.com/YouTube and lairdwellness.com/Rumble. Yes. Thank you again. See you next week.
Take care.